Over 5.6 million people have fled Syria since 2011, seeking safety in Lebanon, Turkey, Jordan and beyond. Half of them are children. Almost 700,000 Syrian refugees live in Jordan, which is the third host country after Turkey and Lebanon. Over 700,000 Syrian refugee children are estimated to be out of school in Syria's neighboring countries. The majority of Syrian refugees live in urban areas, and Mafraq is one of the 3 Jordanian governorates with the highest number of registered Syrians. Local schools had to keep up with the high number of refugee children needing an education, including those coming with disability. Abdelrahman is 8 years old and has cerebral palsy, affecting his ability to walk. This is his first year at school.
What I love most is science. Science is great. I love everything that is related to it.
At Al-Hamra school, Abdelrahman is treated as any other child, but with different needs to be addressed. The school is part of an inclusive education program implemented by the organization Mercy Corps and financed by the European Union. Abdelrahman was rejected for 2 years by schools that were unequipped to assist him.
We work with schools through providing them with assistant teachers. We also provide them with furniture and assistive technology in order to improve the quality of education all children receive, including children with disabilities. Currently, around 300 children are receiving rehabilitation sessions.
Figures about Syrian refugees with disabilities in Jordan are unclear. Estimates say that up to 15,000 might be children, with only 3% receiving an education. The reasons being not only the capacity of the national education system, but also refugees' challenging socio-economic conditions, including high poverty rates.
It was hard to get him to school because he's not capable of walking, and it's very difficult for us to take him to school and bring him back. But he has to study.
We travelled back to Amman to join the EU Commissioner for Humanitarian Aid, Christos Stylianides, in his visit to another EU-financed school. The European Union has mobilised some 11 billion euros since the beginning of the Syrian crisis. The budget for education is growing.
The education emergencies is the most underfunded field in our humanitarian aid. And this is why, from the beginning, I already increased 10 times the budget for education emergencies.
What are the EU goals in terms of education for children with disabilities?
Next year, all humanitarian projects have to include specificities about disability persons.
We travelled north again, close to Syria, to visit another inclusive school. Dareen is part of a team of around 160 assistant teachers for children with disabilities, trained by Mercy Corps in over 40 schools across the country. With the help of an interpreter, she's raising awareness about persons with disabilities by teaching sign language to students who don't have disabilities.
The first time I came to school, I was worried about how I could communicate with students and teachers. But ever since the first day in the classroom, it was really easy. My body language worked well, and the students loved it. My cousin is deaf, and I wasn't able to communicate with him, but now we talk to each other.
Dareen is the living example of inclusion, a path that is still long and not granted for everybody, be it Jordanian or refugee. It took her 7 years before finding a job. Jordan has recently adopted a new law on the rights for persons with disabilities and a 10-year strategic plan that will replicate the best practices across the country.